Ladies and gentlemen, a very, very big welcome to week 3 of DEN203 IT Strategy and Management. As usual, I'm very, very happy to have you here in my class. I have a pleasure of coming and trying to share my passion with you and try to guide you and teach you about this topic. So today I am going to be talking about establishing an effective process for developing information system and technology or digital strategies. And we are also going to be talking about the assignment. So we'll basically give you that benefit accordingly. Now, ladies and gentlemen, every week I tell you the details. If you'd like to make contact with any of us are on Moodle, me or your lecturer, you can contact us, you can speak to us. We want to help you. So anything you need, you just need to go and make contact, and you'll see that we're ready to go and give you the best support that you basically would like. I want to remind you very quickly about the copyright. No copying and pasting is allowed or is encouraged. If we see copying, if we see pasting, if we see people doing the wrong thing and not paraphrasing and using their own words for things, this is very harshly penalized. And that's something you need to be very, very much bearing in mind to ensure we don't give any penalties or result in bad marks in your subject. So please make sure you're very, very careful on research, because we will be talking about research today and about the importance of you guys making more research as needed to be able to go and ensure you do your first assignment very, very well. The first assignment is an individual assignment. Last week I spoke about the evolving nature of strategic management in organizations, how we're changing in terms of strategic management. We spoke about the various scope of strategy deployments. We spoke about various levels of strategies. We spoke about corporate level. We spoke about functional level. We spoke about strategic business unit level. We spoke about how do we go and create and formulate a strategy where we showed you a framework which says, where do we compete? How do we win? What assets do we have? What assets do we need? How do we actually change by having the dynamic capability that is needed to be able to go and ensure we are going to go and achieve the success that is really needed? And finally, we spoke about let's go and implement the strategy that needs to go and be implemented in organizations. Today, I am going to go one step further. Today, we're going to talk about processes, how something must be done, how we involve and we do the various activities. How do we look at the external environment? How do we look at the internal environment? How do we look at all of these various departments, and where are not simply our IT or IS strategy, but where is our business strategy going to go and really be? We're going to talk about the evolution of the IS and IT strategy process from technology deployment to let's go and think about strategy. We're going to think about some definitional clarity. We're going to talk about definitions, and that's mainly in the webinar. We're going to talk about the business context for developing and managing the strategy. We're going to talk about establishing an effective process, something that is continuous, something that is flexible. We talk about setting up the scope of the strategy that we need to go and really bear in mind. We're talking about the framework for IS and IT strategy formulation. How do we create them? And when I say we need to formulate them, we have to formulate them by also thinking about the business, linking things together to be able to get the right outcome. We're going to also talk about other deliverables from the IS and IT strategy process. And we're going to discuss your assignment, which is coming up very shortly, which is very, very important that you start working on it now. Do not delay it, because we want to reach the best possible outcome. Ladies and gentlemen, let's start with the first thing: IS and IT strategy formulation and IS and IT planning. What do you think the difference is between those two terms, IS and IT strategy formulation and IS and IT planning? What is the difference between these two? It's time for my beautiful students to come and share with me. What do you think? Come on, guys. We don't have all day. Come on, let's go. We only have an hour. Let's go. IS and IT strategy formulation versus IS and IT planning. What's the difference? I'm waiting. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think is the difference between IS and IT strategy formulation versus IS and IT planning? Come on. All right, Alok. What do you think, Alok? Subhana, are you here?
Information technology falls under the IS umbrella, but deals with the technology involved in the system themselves.
Yeah, but what is the difference between strategy formulation and planning? What do you think? Strategy formulation versus planning. What's the difference?
Strategy formulation uses determine the goal and mission and the objectives of the organization, and for the planning you just go ahead with the goals, with the materials that you have, and use it to plan and get that objective.
Awesome, Biplavi. Thank you very much. Well done. I really like your answer. You're right.
Both information technology.
Go on.
Both information technology and information systems, computer-based system, to an extent, but require different education and training.
Yeah, absolutely. They do require different education. They do require different training in terms of these topics. I totally agree. And I also thank you very much for that. This was Ishab, correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Guys, I'm going to basically point out to you these two main things. What we want to do and how. This is when we're talking about IS and IT strategy formulation. We want to create this strategy. Okay, what we want to do and how do we want to go and do it. IS and IT planning is more about going specific. Let me plan the portfolio. Let me plan the program. Let me plan the individual projects I'm going to be working on in order for me to be able to go and really reach the outcomes that I would like to go and be able to go and reach in my organization. When I talk about the evolution of the IS and IT strategy process, we're talking about various stages. We talk about IS and IT or digital strategy maturity model, and that was maturity model talk about a number of stages. And these stages basically move. Some people basically started by saying, let me go and actually, every kind of area goes and make their own strategy. And what we do, we kind of create a way where we're going to create synergies between those various strategies that are available across various departments. So we try to kind of have all of these systems that are available. We try to make them start, be a bit coherent. Yes, they are interconnected, but how can we make them a bit coherent? But then the maturity started increasing in terms of the IS and IT or digital strategy. And that happened by we started to think about how do we create an IS and IT strategy that is more kind of thinking about the business and what is the need of the business. And from there, we started really formulating all of these plans that needs to go and be implemented across various departments. So we got to the stage where we're no longer saying functional department by itself, business unit by itself, corporate by itself. No, we're saying everybody is interconnected together. Everybody is working together in synergy to be able to go and get an appropriate IS and IT or digital strategy in the organization. So we talk about all of these maturity model, how we became more mature into how do we go and formulate all of these strategies that needs to go and really be formulated. Now we'll talk more about it next, on Thursday and Friday, where we talk about, we talk about all of these various topics. If you want, we talk about every stage and what happened in every stage. But we also need to know that a lot of time there are really problems. There are inhibitors for us to be able to go and have a good outcome in terms of getting an IS and IT strategy really develop. And the reason why is because a lot of time, I'm going to tell you only one reason. A lot of time, what top management would like to go and see, they would like to see a financial justification for all of their various investments. So if they want a financial justification, what did people then used to do, the technology people? They go and overstate the benefit of what could happen from an IS and IT strategy. And the reason why they would do that is because they would like that senior manager to be able to go and say, all right, no problem, I'm going to give you the go ahead to be able to go and implement that new technology. What happened as a result of those actions is the result that were expected, and because they were inflated, they were not actually delivered, and as a result of that, the benefits that needed to go and be delivered were not actually really delivered, and that was really a big problem for the organization. When I think about the business context for developing and managing the strategy, we think about the business being at the center of everything we do. Now, as a business to be successful, let me ask you this question. What does the business need to do to be successful? Not simply now, but now and in the future, remain successful. What does the business need to do to remain successful?
We have to make long-term portfolio.
Long-term portfolio. And how do they decide on that portfolio, my friend? How do they decide that a portfolio is correct? What's that? What did you say?
There should be consistency in their the work.
They need to be consistency in their work. Thank you very much, Rajib. What else, guys? Not simply consistent. What else? How could they remain competitive in the short term and in the long term?
There should be dynamic also, sir.
Dynamic. Thank you very much. It's a very good answer, Rajib. It is about being dynamic. It is about keeping on changing, because by changing, we basically are changing according to how the environment is changing. And I have this beautiful answer from Alok also. He's saying we need capital, 100% Alok. We can't actually implement what we need to do within the business without having the capital to be able to go and really get the job done. So what are we doing here is we need to go and determine our strategy. And that strategy needs to be considered by looking at the environments, my internal environment and my external environment. What is happening in my business that is resulting in my need to go and have a particular strategy, and what is happening outside in my competitors or new technology or whatever is happening outside that is leading me to go and need to go and change my business strategy. But what we need to go and do, we need to really think about various things. We have all of these functional strategies to ensure that our normal business as usual will continue to go and occur with no issues whatsoever. But we also need other stuff. We need to have some incremental changes, and we need to be some breakthrough changes. The incremental changes is we make, gradual improvements about what we need to go and really achieve. There's something a bit better. We get programs, we start making incremental changes of things based on how the environment is changing. But also, we have to have a breakthrough change, and that breakthrough change is about, let's find, totally new ways for us to go and operate. Let me give you an example. Guys, how do companies do delivery today? If you buy something on the internet, how do companies make deliveries today? Anyone? Okay, yeah, door to door, absolutely. Alok, yes. So I just, for example, 10 minutes ago, we had Australia Post coming out there, and they were trying to deliver something. All right, let me ask you, there is a new way. People are thinking about a new way for them to go and start developing and delivering the items. That is a breakthrough method. Can you think about what that method I'm talking about? What is that breakthrough method that they're trying to go and really do? Can anybody think about it?
Through drone technologies.
Drone technology. So that drone technology, so let's talk about door-to-door delivery. Let's talk about Australia Post. Do they need to implement incremental change? Do they need to always find better ways to go and operate, or do they just, you know, do the same thing over and over again? Should they improve? Yes or no?
Yes,
They
sir.
need
Should
to
go and
speed up
improve.
the delivery time, and
Yeah.
they need to employ more delivery guides to deliver parcel in time.
Yep, agree. And if you basically go and remember, they used to go and use like you know, now they're using kind of more updated, you know, approaches. And now, for example, they have a like a, I'm not sure if you've seen, but they have like a motorbike, but that motorbike is also like a car, and they have the carriage and they have stuff in it. That's different to how they used to go and operate in the past. So they basically find a different way for them to go and really operate that basically was more beneficial than how they used to go and operate previously. So yes, because, you know, I have Alok saying, yes, we need to improve because you know, improvement is always needed and we need to go and make improvement. That's correct. But simply you need to also improve, because if you don't improve, you won't remain long-term success in the business. Like, they're going to be someone who's going to be more efficient than you. And if they become more efficient than you, they will be able to go and basically take some of your business away from you and give it to someone else. So this breakthrough change is different. You know, say, let's go and do things totally different. Let's get a totally brand new business strategy. You're like, we don't want to deliver as Australia Post this way. We're going to go and find a brand new way for us to go and operate. So we need to think about all of these breakthrough ways we need to go and actually operate ourselves, not simply keep on operating the same way we always operate or used to go and operate. We need to establish an effective process. So this whole chapter talks about a lot of time about the processes. You know, we need to establish all of these effective processes for you know, getting all of these strategies and you know, becoming competitive, if you want, as an organization. So what do we need to really go and do? Well, we need to go and find a new way of operating. We need to go and say, well, that's not potentially the best approach for us to go and do things. So how do we go and do it? Well, Sullivan went and said, we need to go and think about you know, many elements to be able to enable us to achieve that competitive advantage. He said we need to have a proactive competitive advantage search by using information and applying technology. So let's not wait for, you know, someone else to come and take our you know, our winning position to start searching for a new way. No, let's go from now, from the beginning. Let's look and find a better way for us to be able to go and operate, to be able to go and maintain our competitiveness now and in the future. Let's have a broader strategy scope, which focuses on using IT not only for automation or, you know, processing data or providing information, but how could we use that IT in the products and processes we do? And I gave you the example of that drone technology. Like, we can change our whole process to deliver via drone technology. Instead of delivering in a traditional way, we basically go and usually go and deliver. Let's find a new way. It's still our product. We're still making deliveries. Just how we do it is actually significantly changing. Let's develop information systems and technology architectures to guide the introduction and integration of new and existing application and technologies. If I have current technologies, can I integrate them to work better together? And if I have new technologies, can I go and also make them go and integrate well together within my existing systems that are actually available? We spoke last week, we briefly mentioned about, you know, all of these various levels of strategies. We said there's a strategy for the corporate strategic business unit. There's a strategy for the strategic business unit. And there's all of these, you know, consolidation across more than one business unit. Like, you might have a more than one functional unit, and we need to kind of consolidate things across all of these various departments. My question to you, at what level should our information system and IT strategy be? Should it be at the strategic level, at the business unit level, or at a, you know, consolidated business unit level? Which level do you think we should go and plan? What do you think? Should we make a strategy on a strategy, for the corporate strategic business unit, on a strategic business unit, not the corporate level, the actual strategic business unit, or across the business unit? And to kind of give you and give you the perspective, last week I gave you the example of West Farmers. Where does West Farmers fit, guys, on this equation? Where is West Farmers here? Anyone?
Like,
Is West Farmers here, or here?
like supermarkets, they offer every.
Yeah, but I'm asking question. Last week I spoke about West Farmers and we spoke about multi-level strategies. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, which level is West Farmers?
Corporate.
The corporate. And what do we have under that?
Under strategy business unit.
Yeah, so who did we have last week? Under West Farmers, who did we have?
Bunnings, Kmart.
Yeah, Target and so on. And
Yeah.
underneath here, what did we have?
I'm sorry, what was that?
And underneath on the last level, what did we have?
On last level, marketing teams and all the
All
other
of these
teams.
departments, correct. So my question to you, at what level should my information system and IT strategy be? Should it be at the corporate level, business unit level, or across the business units level? What do you think?
Maybe corporate level.
You think corporate level? What do you think?
Unit level.
Hey?
Across
It
the
could be
business
under
unit.
like 3 of those, just different forms of.
What I would want to say here is it's gonna go and really be different across the environments in which we are operating. There won't be one consistent way. Usually, you need to have all of this alignment between what your IT and IS industry want and what is a business impact. So you're gonna usually get a corporate strategy that goes to the business unit, that goes to all of these, business unit strategies at the bottom. We need to go and have, what is required by understanding the top, and we need to know how we're going to go and deliver it. But you need to be very careful. Sometimes, for example, you might go and create a corporate strategic business unit, which means everybody under the under the SBUs at the lower level needs to go and follow that strategy. And my question to you is, well, what is going to happen if everybody go and implement the corporate business unit level, and then the business side, you know what, I want to go and sell one of my business units, but we already have that same strategy. We're going to tell them about a strategy for our competitor. So sometimes getting a corporate strategic business unit to be implemented across everybody might not necessarily be the best option, especially if you're going to go and make some business changes, such as, selling one of your business units where your competitive secrets will be basically shared with someone who's going to go and buy your business. So something to really bear in mind. I would say a single IT strategy may be appropriate for the whole organization, especially if there's centralization of other corporate functions. So you might have, one unit because everyone's going to go and use the same thing. But I'll give you an example for that. For example, you might say, all right, in West Farmers, we're only going to have one accounting department, which is at West Farmers level. And at the strategic business unit, we're not going to have an accounting department. At the bottom, we're not going to have an accounting department. So in that sort of example, if you have a strategic corporate strategy, that would be ideal, because you know that all your accounting, for example, is centralized, and everybody in your businesses needs to go and follow that particular approach. But you need to really assess every situation to really make a judgment whether having that sort of centralized strategy is really an appropriate one. We need to have a framework for IS and IT strategy formulation. And that framework needs to consider many, many things to get my IS and IT strategy, to have the right process, I have to go and ask myself this question. What is happening in my external environment? What is happening in my internal environment? That's for the business side of things. So what is the business competition doing outside, and what is happening inside my business that might not be working as efficient as I would like things to go and really go and work out? That's one thing to bear in mind. The other thing is what is happening in the external environment, external IS and IT environment, as well as your internal information system and IT environment. You might not have the good operation of your information system and IT within your business, but at the same time, there might be so much better ways to go and operate outside in the actual market in terms of information system and IT. So your job in the process as a first instance is, let me go and actually check what is happening outside and inside my business, both in terms of the business operation as well as the information system and IT operation. And by doing that, then let's go and basically try to get an IS and IT strategy process. Let's get, what we call a business information system strategy, an IS and IT management strategy, and IT strategy. And I'll talk further about them on, during the webinars, but there are, many of them. You need to know what is going to be your business information system like. What information does the business really need for me to be able to go and really reach the right outcomes? What is my IT strategy? IT strategy is more about ensuring that IT give me what I need, help me to get the information that I need. And the management strategy is really about managing the whole, IT function and getting the technology and getting the information system to be able to reach the right outcomes. Now, when I go and look at all of these strategies, we go and develop a future applications portfolio. What are we going to do? All of these applications that will help me to reach my goals. That's really what I need to go and develop. And that thing I develop for the future needs to go and add to my existing application portfolio. They need to work well together. I can't just go and create some new thing and say, oh, don't worry about everything else that I used to go and be doing. You have to continue doing the same thing you used to go and do inside your business. You have to create that alignment inside and outside your business. You need to ensure your future applications and your current applications work well together. You don't, unless you have an old application that you are going to, get rid of, then yeah, no problem. You don't need it anymore. But if you're going to still use the current application, they need to work well with anything new you are introducing into the business. We talk about, deliverables from the IS and IT strategy process. The IS and IT management strategy, what do we think about? That's one thing, we need to think about, what is that? It's about, what is the scope of my management strategy? How are we going to organize people? How are we going to, structure resources? What are my vendor policies? What are my supplier policies that I need to really go and actually bear in mind? I need to think about hard and soft outputs. What are they? Documents defining my strategy and plans. Soft outputs, I need to understand my organization value. I need to understand the management style. How do people go and really work to be able to go and reach the right goals within the organization? I need to market my strategy. Market my strategy is about really making sure that people are going to accept my strategy and work to go and really implement it. So how do we do that? Well, we need to go and obtain all of these agreements from all the people concerned to be able to ensure we are going to be reaching the right goals for the organization. Do you have any questions, my friends? Any questions at all?
No, sir.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and start talking about what we do in terms of the assignment. We need to go and talk about what you need to do for your first assignment,